Welcome to my series, where I try to tell Skyrim like it was written in a book, or told in the TV series, with not just one main character who is all of a sudden the Dragonborn, but many different characters, most of which, well, all of which, but one, are not the Dragonborn. This story will be played by many different characters of all different sorts of backstories, and all different combat roles and personalities. I hope you come to enjoy watching this sort of stuff as much as I enjoy making it and playing it. If you guys enjoy, please leave a like, and subscribe if you want. And of course, if you're feeling a bit chatty, drop me a comment and it'll be fun to have a conversation. Anyway, I'm going to let you get to this. Have fun.
Chapter 17. The Bear-Claw Raiders. We are the Bear-Claw Raiders, an elite hit-and-run division for the Stormcloak Rebellion. Me and my sister Brianna lead the raiders in battle. We keep our mother's name Bear-Claw, and we honor her name by taking the fight against the Empire. The raiders are the best of the Stormcloaks, because me, my sister and Gran picked them ourselves. We aren't your usual Stormcloak soldiers, for we pick anybody with a fire burning in their hearts to rid Skyrim of its Imperial occupiers. Anybody willing to pick up a blade and free our lands of Imperial weakness is welcome to the Bear-Claw Raiders. And I mean anybody. That's why we're considered unusual. We aren't all Nords. We have a wood elf who seeks to help us for saving her life. We have an Imperial halfling of a Nord father murdered by Imperial soldiers. Her Imperial mother who fought in the Great War for the Empire, for them to then kill her Nord husband and leave her child without a father.
It's always good to see someone I can count on.
An orc stronghold was destroyed by the Empire for refusing to leave its lands because the High King wanted their mine. Another Imperial halfling who watched Imperials kill his parents because they sold food to rebels. A dark elf who decided to fight with us instead of complaining about how sad life is in the Grey Quarter. Hell, we even have a vampire who wants to free Skyrim from the Empire. She knew our mother back in her day before she became that. We even took in the Greymane brothers after Northwatch Keep. We all seek to free our homeland of the Empire, for Skyrim can no longer handle its weakness, and we must break free from its shackles. I don't even care who you lie with, as long as your loyalties are to the Stormcloak Rebellion. My own sister lies with women. Most Nords would condemn her for that, but I'd like to see them try. If it's one thing I don't like, it's most Nords' attitudes towards those that mess around under the sheets with the same kind of person. It's not about who they lay with, but the fire in their heart. I mean, we all seek to free Skyrim of the Empire. What does any of that crap matter? I know Brianna doesn't care. She sees Imperials and she starts swinging. She's fight first and ask questions never. For the sake of her safety, she keeps it a secret and sometimes lays with men to hide what she likes. But I hope when we drive the Empire back, she can be who she is meant to be without all this hatred. The goal is to free Skyrim, not make people feel more trapped. It's only caused us problems. Like those women of the North. They are open about who they lie with, and because of the East hatred against that, they won't help us fight the Empire. All the same, we'll fight the Empire. We'll drive them out of our lands and free Skyrim of its weakness. We'll protect our borders, we'll raid Imperial territory, we'll give it all if we have to. We'll never back down. For when the Bear-Claw Raiders come, the snows are painted Imperial red. As the bards sing, all hail to Ulfric, you are the High King. In your great honor we drink and we sing. We're the children of Skyrim, and we fight all our lives. And when Sovngarde beckons, every one of us dies. But this land is ours, and we'll see it wiped clean. Of the scourge that has sullied our hopes and our dreams. One day Skyrim will be ours again, not just for the Nords, but for all those who love Skyrim and any child not born to a Nordic woman. This will be their lands. Skyrim will be ours. We were here to raid farms and take out Imperial patrols or any sort of leadership. To hit and run. The battle for Whiterun was only weeks ago. I wish the raiders would have had the chance to be there. To show everyone what we could do. If Gran would have gave us the orders to join the Whiterun attack, that Imperial hero would be dead, and Whiterun would have joined the bear. Why does she hold us back? For protection? We're soldiers. This is what we are meant to do. I don't understand why she keeps us away from the action. She trained us. She knows how lethal we are together. Plus, we're never alone with the raiders at our back. I just don't understand. The next morning, we would send out 2 teams dressing up as Imperials. I would go with Team 1 into the city, check out Whiterun's strength, and take out any sort of leadership I could find. Team 2 would check out the Whiterun hold. Whiterun was known for its farms. Most of Skyrim relied on its produce, and the Empire knew that. There seemed to be more Imperial troops here than the Imperial city. There was no way we were going to attack Whiterun with how many Imperials there were. We would have to take everything around them and box them in if we wanted Whiterun. We lost the first battle here, and they weren't even set up. Maybe later on in this war, when they have less troops after meeting the Bear-Claw raiders in battle. Unlike the Empire's soldiers, we all fight for one goal, to push the Empire out of Skyrim. The common Imperial soldiers doesn't even want to be here. They're here for gold, and that is why we will win this war. The Empire's presence is everywhere. They even guard the Midri. The famous gate the horde of Stormcloaks couldn't pass through. The Empire has since fortified the city since our attack. If we were here, there'd be no hero of Whiterun, no story of the impassable gate. Whiterun flags would be of the bear blowing in the wind. Maybe later in the war we will see this. We'd check around the city for the day, blend in with the other Imperials around Whiterun, get some intel on Imperial officers, and let Marillia know that her boys were doing good, fighting to free her lands of the Imperial dogs. It was then I felt strange, really strange, like that time during Northwatch, where I was drawn into staring at some keep on the mountain. It was an Imperial vanguard, the famous hero that held back our armies from Whiterun. That would be our target, only when he leaves the city back to his fort. The city had too many ears and eyes during the day. I heard the Gildergreen was dead in Whiterun. It's good to see her full of life once more. I would blend in with the rest of the Imperial soldiers when I saw this Imperial hero coming my way. He was staring at me, like he felt the same sort of strange feeling I had, or maybe he thought I was the most beautiful Nord woman he had ever seen. All the same, I kept a straight face and stood there like a good Imperial soldier. He doesn't know how lucky he is. If that was Brianna, that would have been the last Nord woman he would have ever looked at. I told my people to wait around the city, to wait for this soldier to leave. Then we would strike. Killing him would wound the Imperial morale beyond repair. The afternoon finally came. His Imperial soldiers were heading back to their fort. He would lag behind and we would end him. I would wait for him at the Gildergreen. There he was, thinking he was safe, not knowing this would be his last sunset. With him dead, the Empire's troops will lose faith in their strength, and that will make killing them and driving them out of Skyrim so much more easier. This would have been the best time to end him, if not for the guard behind me, and me not being some cutthroat assassin. He'll die fighting in the sun with his weapon in hand. Out in the open, with the wilds of Skyrim to see him off to his Imperial afterlife. He turned left. Where was he going now? Damn it. He owned a home here. No way we could end him now. He doesn't know how lucky he is. His new title. Luckiest Imperial to ever live. Team 2 was led by Vitella. She was an Imperial soldier who followed the Nords back to Skyrim after the Imperial surrender. Her Nordic husband was killed by Imperial soldiers in a protest before their child was born. She was saved by the Northern legions during the war and followed them after. She fell in love with a Nord soldier and went to Skyrim to start a family, for then to have her husband killed by the very soldiers he served with to save their empire. Her daughter fights with us too. She's an Imperial but tall like a Nord, and has Brianna's Nordic pale skin and red hair. Vitella's job was to kill any small Imperial troop movements, or officers. Imperial nobles were a bonus, and find anything the raiders can hit. None would suspect them to be Stormcloaks. The patrol was mostly Imperials and Nords, like any small northern patrol. That way they could slip into enemy lines freely, take out unsuspecting troops, and find weak points in their defense. Where our mission was a failure, Vitella's was a success. She found a farm on the edge of Whiterun's territory, with a small guard presence and no Imperial stations. This we would hit, burn down 90%, leaving the rest for the town to survive on. And if the Imperials take that from them, they will see the Empire for what it really is. We would move through the Whiterun plains during the night, find a hideaway filled with bandits and take it for our own until our mission was complete. We would clear out the scum and take what they have stolen, would drink their ale and eat their food. For tomorrow could be our last days on Skyrim. We must cherish every night we get, and every sunrise we get to see. The rains had stopped, thank Talos. We ran into small patrols and very little guard patrols. There was nothing they could do. We left the farms on fire, for the people of Rorikstead only had enough to feed the people they had for some time. If the Empire takes what they have, then that's more supporters of an independent Skyrim. We'd clean up any Imperial patrols that got in our way, and we'd disappear back into the wilds, leaving the Empire hungry and wounded. This is what we do. We are the Bear-Claw Raiders.
Well now, I really wanted to show off Sigund and her group as a proper sort of thing during the war. Like I mentioned with Sigund, she doesn't care that the Nords... she doesn't care if someone lays with the same sort of person. Now I can't use the word lesbian or gay because I'm not sure that's even a word in this sort of fantasy. But she doesn't care because her twin sister, her younger sister maybe, like, you know, that kind of cut out of their mother's gut, is a bit rash and a bit impulsive, and she likes women. She's your typical hot-headed Ragnar sort of Nord, where Sigund's a bit more sensible, a bit more think first before you act. And she doesn't hate people like most pro-Ulfric Nord leaders do that lie with the same sort of people, nor is she a racist. She's not a big fan of the Dark Elves whinging, you know, about the Nords not treating them right, blah blah blah, unless of course they're willing to fight with them. But she's not a racist. She's happy to call anybody a Nord if they love her homeland like she does, and if they're willing to fight for it to free it of Imperial weakness. And so that's the way I want to go with Sigund, that she's not your typical, you know, pull out your sword and chuck shit at the enemy. She's a bit more reserved. She's a bit like Senturos in a way, where Senturos is a bit of a thinker. He will fight with focus, and he'll outthink his enemy. You know, he's a bit like Obi-Wan. A good defense is a good offense, and Sigund's a bit like that herself, but she's a bit more of a savage fighter, but also a thinker. You know, Senturos will let the enemies come to him, you know, and play into his hand, where Sigund will make a move at her enemy and then sort of outwit him and stuff like that. So that's what I think of these two guys of two sides of a coin. But yeah, I enjoyed making this one. I got to show off a couple of characters. One of my favourite characters, Vitilia. I don't know how to say her name properly. You know, the concept of her was actually a discussion with the guy that made Open Civil Wars. He asked me for a character. I gave him one, and I thought about one instantly for my own story as an Imperial soldier that fought with the Nords, fought in the Great War, joined the Nords, didn't like the Empire's surrender, went with them, lost a husband, blah blah blah, and you've got an actual Imperial traitor. My first was Lavius. You've seen him in this one. He was a Redguard Nord, sorry, a Redguard Imperial, or Imperial Redguard, because his mother was an Imperial but had darker skin. and he saw Imperial soldiers kill his mother and father and burn the house down because they sold produce to the rebels, which, you know, wasn't too bloody nice. But, yeah, so he's all about hatred too. And his sister there fights with him, and she's an archer. Anyway, also want to mention, when it comes to music, this sort of thing, I use Elder Scrolls music, and I always try to fit the right Elder Scrolls song with the right sort of environment. So things like when you see Senturos walk past Sigund when she's pretending to be on guard, I use the track Hidden Hostile. Or I'm walking past the Gildergreen, it could be the Oblivion soundtrack Wings of Kinnereth, or the ESO Elsewhere track, like there's another one called the Kinnereth or something like that. Or if I'm in Whiterun, I might use the track Tundra, which makes a bit more sense. So I like to try and get as much Elder Scrolls music as I can possibly get, and try and fit them in to give you that right feel for the right environment. And that's what I really like doing when doing... I'm not a big music guy, but I really like finding the right song with the right name that fits the aesthetic that the stories are doing. And, yeah, I'm blathered on long enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this little chapter of Sigund, because, you know, she's not going to win the war, but that's her plan. I got to play as the character. I can't play as me. I said this in a video that I've just released, but you got to really jump into them and become them. You know, their dreams, their hopes, their ambitions, and, you know, this is what she sees. It might not come to fruition, but this is exactly what she sees, and this is what she's fighting for before life takes her side, you know, before life comes at your corner and smacks you in the side of the chin. So, yeah, it's really fun playing as her, and even killing Imperial soldiers. I actually kind of enjoy it. And, again, that's coming from a player that played Oblivion in Cyrodiil as an Imperial, which is, you know, nostalgic to me as a player, which means I'm going to be on the Empire side, and I'm going to play an Imperial as my main character. And this could be different for people that first played Skyrim, never played Oblivion, where Skyrim is their home and the Nords are their people. And I actually get to experience that somewhat, as playing as a Nord, eager to cut down anyone wearing the red. It's good fun, changing characters. Anyway, like I said, I've blathered way too long, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this, like it if you want. If you don't, dislike it. If you want to stick around for more, subscribe and hit the little bell button. I do a lot more of this stuff, and there's a shit ton more to come. And some more different kind of things I want to try. I'll put that in a different video though. Anyway, I'm out of here. Have fun.